the negative eccentric phase of a rep is so important and why it matters, okay? I am asked about this all the time. I will also post a detailed article about this topic as well as proper form on my Substack if you would like even more information. Okay, so negative reps or the eccentric phase of the exercise. 1, more muscle damage equals more growth and strength. The eccentric phase, lowering yourself down in a push-up, for example, actually causes more microscopic fiber damage than the concentric pushing up phase. And that controlled damage is what signals the body to rebuild stronger tissue. An example, when you lower yourself down under control, you're actually putting your muscles under more mechanical tension for a longer period of time. And that's what triggers growth and strength improvements. It's not about how fast you can knock out 20 reps. It's about how much quality tension you can create during each repetition. Number 2, strengthens tendons and connective tissue, especially important for aging guys. The eccentric or negative portion of the rep builds not only muscle, but also the tendons and connective tissue that support the joints. This helps injury prevention and overall joint health, and that's something we're really looking for. Super important because, again, as we get older, it's not just about muscles, it's about the connective tissues as well. For example, the push-up. Controlled negatives actually help strengthen the tendons and ligaments around the shoulders, the elbows, and the wrists. This will help keep you training pain-free at 50, 60, 70, and even older. 3, control and body awareness. Rushing through reps usually means no control, poor form, and developing increasingly bad habits. And work at another video about the form. That'll be the next one. Slowing down the eccentric teaches motor control and reinforces good movement patterns. I talked a lot about Arthur Jones, the scientist and inventor of the Nautilus cam and Nautilus machines. Arthur Jones proved through extensive research at Nautilus that muscles are stronger in the eccentric phase than in the concentric. In fact, about 20 to 40% stronger. Most people only focus on lifting phase and rush through the negative. I'm guilty as charged. The negative should be deliberately controlled because it activates a higher number of muscle fibers. It creates more muscle tension for longer periods of time. It causes greater micro trauma to muscle fibers, the stimulus needed for growth. This is why Jones prescribed, as I still prescribed as a student of his, a 2-second positive, 1-second hold, 3 to 4 second negative cadence. No bouncing, no cheating, no momentum. Remember this, and this is really important. Muscles respond to intensity, not volume. Endless wasted jerking, rush repetitions create more joint wear and CNS fatigue, that's central nervous system fatigue, without proportional benefit. Modern science has confirmed all this. The studies as recent as 2020 and 2024 show that eccentric training creates more hypertrophy. Current literature now validates that eccentric contractions generate higher mechanical tension and metabolic stress than lower perceived effort. Hypertrophy is an increase in the size of tissue or organ, typically through enlargement of its component cells. In skeletal muscles, it refers to increase in muscle fiber cross-sectional area. Now, if a muscle fiber gets bigger, it can generate more force. So hypertrophy inherently contributes to strength. There is no separation between hypertrophy and strength development. They're fundamentally linked through the physics of cross-sectional fiber force production. I know, really scientific, a lot of jargon. There's a persistent idea floating around that if you want to build size, you train hypertrophy, but if you want to build strength, you follow a separate training regimen. That's misleading and ridiculous. Strength gains happen through 2 primary mechanisms. Neurological adaptation, okay, where your nervous system becomes more efficient at recruiting muscle fibers, and muscular hypertrophy, where the muscle fibers themselves get larger and generate more force. When you focus on controlled repetitions, especially emphasizing the eccentric or negative phase, you create more mechanical tension and recruit more muscle fibers. They're 2 sides of the same process, and a well-designed program should improve both. 4, eccentric loading builds strength faster. Multiple studies show that eccentric focused training can build strength up to 30 to 40% faster than concentric only training. And for guys over 50, anything that delivers strength and size gains both faster and safely is a win in my book. It's hard to believe, but you're actually stronger on the way down than you are on the way up. You can handle greater loads eccentrically than concentrically. It's not because the weight is coming down on you, but because your muscles are capable of producing more force while lengthening under the load than while shortening under the load. It's a physiological fact rooted in muscle fiber mechanics. Why you're stronger eccentrically during negative phase. When a muscle contracts eccentrically, lengthening under tension, several factors allow it to resist higher forces. Passive elastic elements like tendons and connective tissue contribute to force production during the lengthening phase. Fewer motor units are required to control a given load eccentrically than concentrically. The cross-bridge detachment process, actin-myosin, during lengthening requires less metabolic energy than forceful shortening, which makes it more efficient under higher loads. Controlled yielding of muscle fibers allows you to decelerate at load greater than you could lift. Lab studies back this up. In strength testing, a subject might perform a 1 RM, that's 1 repetition maximum concentric bench press at 225 pounds, but may be able to lower eccentrically, the negative 250 to 275 pounds under control without failing immediately. It doesn't feel like being stronger because you're resisting, not overcoming gravity, but the force output capability of the muscle is actually greater during eccentric or negative contraction. Important caveat, this isn't practical strength in the same way. While yes, you can resist heavier weights eccentrically, that doesn't mean you should constantly train with those heavier eccentric loads without intelligent programming, especially for older populations like us, due to tendon strain. Guys, the goal isn't lifting heavy weights or a 1 rep maximum. I tell people this all the time. It's longevity, functionality, and fitness. So the bottom line is the eccentric negative phase builds more muscle and strength than the positive. Controlled negatives protect your joints and connective tissues. Hypertrophy and strength are not separate, they build off of each other. Focus on quality, not volume. One properly executed controlled set is worth more than 10 inefficient sets. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about this topic and more about health, fitness, nutrition, inspiration, and wellness strategies, check out my 2 latest books, Biomatic Body, Fitness Strategies from the Animal Kingdom and the 16 Elements of Fitness, and my other book, If, Inner Fitness, Your Body, the Owner's Manual. The title speaks for itself. If you have a question about fitness, it's probably in this book. They're both available on Amazon.com or linked from our website, www.phrogfitness.com. Thank you.